guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here again with my ring bound journal, which is coming together really nicely, and I thought that I would come along and do the covers. So all I have done, just to kind of show you so far what I've done, as you can see, it all needs trimming. So this was a massive envelope. I managed to buy some massive envelopes from a car boot sale not so long ago, but they're actually miles too big. I don't know what size they would be, but maybe like, I don't know, A2 maybe. They're really huge. But they're too big obviously for, you know, conventional style journals, but I thought double them over, and so I folded them, yeah, doubled over, which would have then been 4 sheets of the envelope paper, if you see what I mean. So I'll just show you what I've cut off. So effectively it was kind of 4 layers, and then all I've done is kind of glued them together to form what's going to be my base for my cover. And then what I did is I then Mod Podged sheet music over the top of one of the sides. So I'm assuming, or at the moment I'm thinking, that these are going to be the outside covers, although now I'm looking at them, I kind of think actually they might be quite nice as the inside covers. So I may have to do a complete U-turn now, and oops, that's some other napkin that I've prepared ready for something else. Yeah, I'm now thinking actually I might prefer these as the inside covers. So if I put my journal down, so that would kind of, you know, be against here, for instance, which actually I think looks quite nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to, I think, do a bit of a backtrack there and completely change my mind, I think. So yes, they're going to be the inside of the front and back covers. So if I kind of just show you, all I'm going to do is, obviously I've left this all drying overnight, so it's, you know, really thoroughly dry. I've been really extravagant with the napkin because I wanted the napkin not to have any kind of edges, and this napkin's got this little border, so I had to move it kind of up, and then I'd torn a bit so I couldn't go right to the edge and things like that. So just going to come down here like this. Okay, and obviously because this is now layered up, I mean technically this has now got sort of 5 sheets of paper because it's got the 4 envelope layers of paper, and then it's also got the sheet music. It also then has the napkin. I mean, not that the napkin really particularly adds any strength or weight to the you know, the thickness, but I mean that is of course an extra layer. So I mean it's actually really sturdy now. Yeah, it's formed a really sturdy cover. So this one, as you can see, I kind of had, you know, torn around it to make it slightly easier. So I'm just going to trim that around like that. And I mean, again, you don't need to be too exact really, because I'm going to probably stitch around all of this anyway. And as I say, I mean, it's all nicely glued together, so it's not kind of gaping open or anything like that. So, but all I've done really is just wanted to create a sort of thicker sheet or a thicker base for my covers. So there we go, tidied them up and we put them down. So as you can see, I mean, this one I have got sideways on, this one, you know, this way on. I mean, in an ideal world they would both be kind of the same, but I was just using bits that I had left laying around on my desk. So, you know, I didn't want to kind of be too fussy and going, you know, to get more sheet music. So I just used what I had to hand. Now I've got this piece here, which was some upholstery fabric, you know, just a sample that you can get from stores and things. So I thought this might be quite nice on the inside of the front cover, which I think would look really good. Again, I mean, obviously I may reconfigure how these pages are in this ring bound journal yet, so I'm not saying that this is going to be page 1, but if it were, it would look quite nice against this pocket, I think. So yeah, I'm just deciding, do I stitch this on? I think probably stitching it on would be quite nice. So what I'm going to do is go round to the sewing machine. I'm going to stitch all around the edges of the the page, front and back. And then I'm going to, I think, stitch this on. Now, just before I do that, I'm just having a look to see whether I'd like any lace or anything, you know, running down underneath where that pocket's going to go. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. So I'm just going to go and do that, and I'll be back in a minute. Right, I'm back from the sewing machine. So as you can see, all I've done is just literally stitched around the edges of the, you know, the pieces themselves. And then on this one, I've just stitched on that pocket down the bottom, and that pocket I'd already sewn on with the sewing machine this strip of lace here, so you know it's already got a bit of decoration on it. So I'm just going to trim up the hanging threads. I think that's it. Okay, now whilst I was on my way back from the sewing machine, I suddenly remembered I had been gifted in Happy Mail some of this beautiful hessian or burlap in this gorgeous colour, so just going to undo it now. Obviously, of course, I wanted to be hoarding this, so yeah, I'm going to be a bit stingy and not use too much of it, but I just thought, oh, colour wise I might be able to just do another pocket here on, you know, the other side, which would just pick up all this bluey green colour really nicely throughout, you know, that's going on throughout the journal. So I'm just going to cut this down. As I say, I want to be a bit stingy. I'm just going to hoard this. I mean, actually, to be honest, I'm kind of wondering about using some of this on the cover, but I haven't quite decided yet what to do for the cover. So yeah, I don't want to fully commit to that just yet. Right, which wrap did I have that? Probably doesn't really matter. And so what I'm going to do, I think, is again maybe layer up a little bit of lace and things on top of this hessian, because that just looks really, really pretty. So maybe this, let me just see whether I might prefer, I've got that gorgeous crochet lace, or actually possibly both look really pretty on there. Right, so I'm just going to go back to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to stitch both of these laces across there, and then I'm going to kind of form another pocket down there. So the front and the back covers will kind of mirror each other in, you know, in some way. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine now again. And as you can see, all I've done is stitch around so that this, you know, what's going to be a pocket is now attached on here. So I'm just going to trim it up down the edges. And I just trim it down across the bottom like that, and then just on this edge. Okay, so I've got my pocket. Yes, of course I'm going to hoard this piece because that's just the type of thing that we do, isn't it? You know, well, I've never seen hessian in this colour before, so you know, obviously I don't want to waste any of it, so yeah, I'm going to hoard it. Right, so that's my inside of my front and my back covers. I swapped it round, you probably could tell. I was going to obviously have that dark blue on the front, but actually, you know, in hindsight, I've decided I think it would be nicer on the back. And yeah, just want to kind of think what type of things I might want on here. So again, I'm just going to obviously ink this up because my other pages have all been inked up. So I'll just go around there. So yeah, I mean, this upholstery piece, I was very lucky because I got some fabric samples from a store when it was closing down. So I, you know, kind of bought quite a lot of them. It'll take me kind of for ages to use them, but I have been kind of, you know, gifting them to people and things like that as well. So yeah, it's they've proved handy. Right, so that's that, and I think all I probably want, I did pull in some of my little button embellishment pieces. I mean, how gorgeous does that look? I mean, colour wise, seriously, that just looks absolutely heavenly on there, doesn't it? So yeah, I think I definitely would quite like that on there. I've got some of my glue book favourites here, so let's just have a look. Obviously these have been printed two to a page. This is my glue book favourites set 2. So just trim that down. Because I just thought perhaps something, you know, up here or something. I mean, we could always put that on the middle. I should have probably thought of that first and stitched it on there. But, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world if I obviously have to put it on there afterwards. Just going to ink that up a little bit. Okie dokie. I think what I might do is punch my holes in here, just so that I kind of have a guide of, you know, where I'm going to be. So let me just pull in my page here that I can then just use to, oops, punch my holes. So I mean, as you can see, my cover's slightly bigger obviously than the, you know, the rest of the pages, which is, you know, perfect. That's just how we want it, is, you know, obviously a little bit bigger. So we'll just line that up at the sides. Just get my crocodile. Okie dokie. Oops. That's that one. And then this one. Like that. Okay. Just makes it a bit easier sometimes to work with, you know, if you've got the holes punched. You know, not necessarily the pages, but the cover especially for some reason, or the, you know, the inside covers and things. It gives you a bit of a guidance as to where your holes are. So again, I just then go into the, oops, best get rid of that piece that's in there so as I can actually see. Otherwise it's pointless, I can't really see where it is. Okay. Get rid of that one. And then we'll just do the same here for this. Let's come on. Oh gosh, there's still a piece in there which is just blocking the view completely. Sometimes you can get away with it, but yeah, not this time. Oh gosh, I think it's still blocking my view, would you believe? Not very helpful. Okay, that's better. Okie dokie. Yeah, I just find that a bit easier to kind of see where I'm coming from. So you know, for doing some bits and pieces. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I've got any more ruffles in the kind of ivory type colour. Let me just quickly have a look behind me, just in case I've got, you know, one lingering around from something else. I've got a white one, which not really ideal because I haven't really used white anywhere else in here. This is so annoying. I need to coffee dye some more kind of plain fabric and do some ruffles. So at the moment, I don't have any. Well, I have got some, you know, this kind of colour fabric, which, I mean, obviously it's not the coffee dyed ruffles, but it would maybe do. So I might go and quickly stitch a couple of ruffles and then I'll be back. Okay, so I now have plenty of ruffles in kind of similar colours. So hopefully we're going to be good to get on with the video now. So without any more stopping and starting. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use the underneath. So I sewed all these upside down so that they didn't have any of the kind of pattern on them. And I'm just going to kind of distress ink this a little bit more. I mean, obviously it is kind of an ivory beigey type colour anyway, but it doesn't really hurt to, you know, just give it a bit more kind of colour. Okay, right, let's get rid of those. Right, bring this back in, and yeah, I'm thinking kind of have my ruffle straight down the edge, and that just then, you know, it's a nice way to start the journal, I just think. So, sorry, just getting out all the other bits of fabric that have got caught in there along the way. I mean, love this button. It just looks so gorgeous. I mean, that just looks identical to that Hessian, doesn't it? But this was actually upholstery fabric, but it just, oh, picks up that colour perfectly. However, not sure it goes so brilliantly now it's on there, although actually going that side looks quite nice, doesn't it? So perhaps we'll have it like that or something. Yeah, I think that looks quite nice. Just checking whether I want anything else on here before I'm kind of gluing it down. So just having a quick rummage through all of the bits that I've got here on my desk from making this journal. And yeah, I've pulled in, you name it, it's here. You name it, it's here, except for probably, you know, the 1 or 2 bits that I might actually find useful. They probably won't be here because that's just how it goes, isn't it? Well, I've got a couple of these gorgeous postcards which have been shrunk down. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I'd printed these out small for a different project, which I actually have never really got around to doing. But it's still on my vague list of videos to do. So hopefully I'll come back to it, you know, eventually. So I'm wondering if we could have it kind of there in the middle, and actually I might just layer it onto a bit of lace or something as well. So just going around there like that. I've got this little piece of leftover lace, so let's just see. It might look really rubbish if it's just hanging out from one place, but it might look okay, so let's just have a look. Oh, I'm not sure now. I mean, to be honest, maybe this will be an instance of less is more. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, but sometimes less is more, I think. Let me just ink up this bow and see whether it would need a bow. So just ink that up. Okie dokie. Oh, that's quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just kind of having a look at, you know, what else I've got going on in the journal. So, oh, I'm not sure. Not sure. Maybe I need to ink the napkin up a little bit more, and maybe some stamped corners maybe might look good. So yeah, maybe a bit of stamping in the background. So let me bring in my hopefully timber brown, because that's what I've been using in here in the main, and we'll just do a little bit of corner stamp. Just having a look through, seeing what stamp I've got that would be good. I've got this one. No, I'm going to just be predictable and go for my favourite. I know, it's just boring, but you know, kind of when you just love something, you know, why look for something else? If you just love something, just go for it. Okay, right, let's just ink this up. Just check I've got rid of all that blue. And I'm just going to stamp it there. Maybe a little bit more kind of going down along here. Okay, right. Okay, well that looks a little bit better, doesn't it? Not sure. I think I need to possibly ink this up. Maybe this is looking just a little bit too white. Oh, I don't know now. It's not quite coming together as I want. And what's most annoying is I can't quite put my finger on what it is that I'm lacking. Right, let me just have a look through my little stamped pieces that I've got here. because I'm thinking maybe it needs something a bit buff coloured to pull it together. So I've got a couple of kind of buff coloured pieces, which I always love using. Maybe something like that. Or maybe my typewriter down there. Right, I'm going to stick the ruffle on because then at least I've committed to something, whereas otherwise I'm just moving things backwards and forwards across the whole page. I'm just squeezing a bit of glue into my carrier bag bin, just because it had been sat there for a long time, so I didn't want to get a big blob of yellow on here. Because, you know, sometimes when it's been sat for a while, it just kind of discolours where the glue is seeping out. Okay. Let's trim that off. Now, what else have I got here? Just the other thing that I did was I have backed a load of vintage kind of pictures from vintage books. So I'm just going to bring some of those in, which I've used quite a bit now throughout the journal. So I'm just wondering whether maybe something from one of those might look really nice. Also, I've got this corner. That might look quite nice on somewhere. Should have had that down before I stuck the ruffle. So I'm now thinking I'm going to have to peel that ruffle up. This is another how not to craft, so please don't watch what I'm doing. Yeah, that just kind of finishes it off a little bit better, and it just brings it all in. So, right, let's glue this down. Oops. It just needed that extra something, didn't it? And I just didn't know what it needed. And then I spotted that as I was just going through that pile, and I thought, oh, that I think is the thing it needs. Okay, just hold that down for a couple of moments. And of course, we've got no bling on here, so, you know, that may also be an area it's kind of calling out for, is some bling. Of course, this now doesn't really want to stick because it's all bumpy from that hot glue. Let me just give this a helping hand with some wet glue. Again, this is a how not to craft really, but obviously I'm just wanting it to work quickly because I'm here doing a video. You know, I don't want you all just sat there endlessly waiting for me while I hold down something waiting for it to dry. So yeah, it's fine. It's stuck there now. Okay. And then I'm just going to have my ruffle now running back up there. So again, just apply the hot glue straight to the ruffle, I think, there. There we go. Wow, that took a long time getting there, didn't it, to that point? Okay, right. Yeah, I like how that looks now. And we could still have this in here, to be fair. Or down there. Oh, yeah, I prefer it down there, I think. Okay, so I like how that looks. Now, again, I'm wondering, do I want to put this on anything? Just ink it up a little bit more. Because everything's actually quite grungy in this book. I've been doing something else, so you know what it's like when you then come back to a project, you kind of forget, don't you, and think, well, you know, what was the style that I was mainly using? But yeah, it was actually all going quite grungy, so I think kind of grunging it up was, you know, it was in need of that. Let's have a look. Oh, right, got some more lace here. Thought I had some tucked down there. Let's just see. See, that might just be an overdose of lace, to be fair. Let me just trim this down. You know, it might just be that that's just too much, and maybe it doesn't need that. Because, I mean, that would obviously tuck sort of under here now. Oh. I was wondering about having the buttons there. So yeah, what do we think? I've still got my bow. Definitely don't want the bow there. That's just very weird, isn't it? Could have it down there. Could have it up there. We could have the bow instead of the button. I loved the button because it goes so perfectly with this. But I've got to say, I think that the bow maybe looks nicer. Unless we have the button there. And just take this off the lace again and see. Oh, I'm going to have to stand up and look down on it. Just, you do get really a different perspective just looking down to when you're just, you know, sat kind of in front of it. And, oh, I don't know now. I'm sure that lots of you are shouting at the screen, either lace or no lace. Oh, I don't know, I don't know. I think maybe I'm going to have to go with no lace because I think it just looked a little bit strange, kind of too much lace going on there. So, I mean, you know me, I absolutely love a bit of lace, but yeah, I think that was maybe just a step too far. So I will just glue that on with my Fabri-Tac. Just, okay. Oops. Oh, perhaps I need to unclog that now. Hold on. Okay, right. And again, obviously in hindsight, really, I could have done this before I stuck that pocket on, and then I could have stitched around it. I mean, obviously, sometimes we just don't think, you know, ahead of when we do things. And yeah, as we always say, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But just, you know, sometimes you don't really necessarily think that far ahead. So, you know, it looks fine glued down, to be honest. Absolutely fine. So I think I'm going to have a bow here. Do we like the bow? Gosh, I'm like really, really, really indecisive today. I have no idea why I'm so indecisive today, but yeah, I'm annoying myself, to be honest. So don't worry if you're feeling irritated. I am feeling irritated by me as well. Okay, so I'm just going to hot glue that bow down. Okay, thank you. There we go. Thank you. Just saying thank you to my husband. He's just bought me a cup of tea. Has its benefits when they work from home. Okay. Right. Yeah, he's not put it on my desk because I'm sort of running out of space already today. So yeah, the cup would probably just be a step too far. Okay, now I'm just going to have one of my hole reinforcers down there. Now, I'm not sure what this would be like stuck on the Hessian. Well, it looks quite nice actually. I thought perhaps it would look weird, but yeah, it looks nice. So I'm going to just Fabri-Tac that one on. Oops. Just on there like that. Okay. Yep, that looks really pretty now. So that's the inside of the front. So now for the inside of the back. So maybe we will use the button here, although it doesn't look half so good there. So perhaps we'll just keep the button somewhere else inside the journal. Oops, in amongst one of the other pages, I think. So just ink around here a little bit more. Okay. And again, what I might do, because obviously I stitched this on ahead of, you know, without this project in mind. So, you know, didn't necessarily obviously think anything through, but I think actually this would look nicer with another bit of lace going across there. So again, I'm just going to Fabri-Tac that one down. Just have to kind of go a bit under there, because obviously that's, you know, just been stitched on. So if I'm not too careful, this will just be kind of not moving around, but loose against that other piece of lace, if you see what I mean. So just trim that off there. Okay, so I mean, that's really great because I've got two really good roomy pockets now, you know, which is obviously brilliant. So I'll just pull in some more of my ruffle that I just did just now. Okay. I could have it like that, and I'm just wondering whether I might like a little bit of lace hanging off on this one, because this is the inside of the back cover, so it might be quite nice to just, you know, have something hanging from the back. So let me just see whether I've got any of that gorgeous crochet lace that I love using. Yep, just got some here, you know, the wide crochet. Oh, I don't know now. More indecision. More indecision from me. Oh, I don't know. I thought it would look pretty because I thought, oh, that's going to then be like, you know, really nice to overhang, but I'm not sure now. Just not sure. Oh gosh, this is really super thready fabric, I have to say. So let me just get rid of some of those fine threads that are just hanging from it. Oops. It's where I tore it, obviously, but some fabrics just, you know, really fray more than others, don't they? Oops. Okay. Right, so yeah, if I have that round there, let me just check. No, I'm going to keep that button for going on a different page, I think. You know, it's going to look really pretty on a different page. So my little vintage pictures that I've just the other day sort of mounted, thinking could just have one of those maybe up here or something. Yeah, I think quite nice like that. Now, again, just because, you know, you can't have enough lace, can you? But just wondered whether that might look quite pretty with some lace, but no. Nope, no, no. Actually, the other thing that I have got is I've got some of my lovely labels. Those stitched labels that we did. It's not really the right colour, unfortunately. No, it's not the right colour. Just wondering whether I'd like a little bit of lace dangling off the bottom of here. So let me just see about this thin crochet. Oops. It's caught up under a bunch of stuff. Honestly, I've got so much stuff piled here for making this journal, so it's in danger of kind of just dropping into the video. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's just glue that on. Oops. Let's just top my bottle up. Okay, so that's just a little bit there along the bottom of that. Just trim that down. Okay. Now, just wondering then maybe about putting something in the background with this. So, got a little postage stamp. No, 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 no. Not that. Okay. Oh, let me see what I have buried on my desk. Because you know me, obviously there is a ton of stuff here buried. Oh, aren't they lovely? Might have to keep those for a tag because they're really, really nice. You see, more hoarding is going on here, more hoarding. Oh, this. Just tear this down. It's just kind of having some more interesting layers to look at, really. You know, it's not particularly serving any purpose. It's just literally about sort of having some more going on. Oops, behind here. Yeah, something like that. It just kind of lifts it out a bit. So we'll just glue that one down. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this one on like a little pocket. So we just then glue it down on the 3 sides. Just like that. Okay, right. Now, still not quite decided about the ruffle, so let me just check that I wouldn't like any other sort of thing. Oh no, not that. Definitely not that. That looked awful. Awful and rubbish. Right, so I'm back to the ruffle. Okay, let me just ink up this ruffle a little bit. I mean, I could just leave it plain, but to me that just looks really boring and rubbish. So I'm just going to put a ruffle down the edge. I mean, of course, I wouldn't put something down all 4 sides, you know, or put something like down this edge and something there, because it would just bring my page right in and make it like super narrow and disproportioned. But just kind of finishing the edge off with something is, you know, really nice to do, isn't it? So again, just glue that down. And, you know, I know that I say this all the time, but for some reason I quite like putting my ruffles a bit curved rather than straight. Didn't used to do that, but yeah, kind of over time I thought, actually, I think I prefer them curved. So, oh, luckily my husband's at home to be able to get the door. It's probably just the postman delivering my instant ink, because unfortunately it just doesn't quite fit through my letterbox, which is annoying, because sometimes they just take it back with them to the, you know, post office depot, and then you have to go and collect it. Yeah, right. So I'm loving how this page is looking now. So really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to finish it off with my hole reinforcers. Oops. And this one's going to go across that, you know, velvet fabric bit. So I'm just going to use my Fabri-Tac as well to stick this down. Okay. And just go a bit here. And then that one. Yeah, and I'm just going to ink that one up a little bit. Okay. They have been inked already, but, you know, sometimes they're paler than others. Okay, so, yeah, I like how that looks. I might just add a little flower or something, maybe at a later stage. I'm just seeing whether I've got any flowers that would be suitable for this. Got that one, but it's quite ginormous. I wonder whether I've got anything that would just go in that middle bit. Oh, I don't know whether I can bring myself to use this. It might look absolutely awful anyway, because actually it's oval and pretty huge probably on that flower. Oh gosh, yeah. That's okay, saves me from using that, which of course I'm hoarding, not really wanting to use it. Ridiculous behaviour, but yeah, that one's quite nice actually. I mean, I know this is quite dark compared to a lot of what's in this journal, but you know, it might be quite nice as a sort of contrast really. So if I have that, and I wonder whether I could get away with just a flat back pearl or not. Oops. That's quite pretty. Quite pretty. Let me just see. what it would look like if I layer that up with, you know, like some flower trim in between the you know, the flat back pearl and the, so for instance, one of these, the flat back pearl might just cover it up. Oh, there's one that's already cut off, so hold on. I don't know. This might look really silly. Okay. Stand up and look down again. Oh gosh, I don't know what's going on with me today. I just literally, I'm like dithering around, not quite knowing on every single piece that I've come to do. It's very annoying. Don't know whether that quite goes with the velvet. Ah, perhaps up there is better. Right, let me stick this on so as it stops keep moving around, because you know, that's also very annoying when obviously the centre is moving separately to the piece itself. So let me just glue that in there and then glue my pearl onto there. Okay. I think I prefer it up there. Right, again, let me just stand up and have a look down. I've got some bling here. It's quite a tiny piece. It might be very, very lost. Ah, there we go. That's quite nice, isn't it? Let me just pull in my journal and just see how this is going to look. Whether that flower's just kind of too dark. No, I think it looks quite nice actually. So just going to glue that bling down and then I'm going to glue the flower on. Okay. And we'll just glue the flower down. Yeah. Really super pretty. Okay, so that's my inside of my front and back cover. I'm going to have my cup of tea and have a bit of a think about what I'm going to do for the outside of the front and back covers, and then we might just have time, probably not to do both, but maybe have time to do one or the other. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back from my cup of tea and I've got this gorgeous fabric here that was gifted to me by Laura, and it's just super plain. I don't know really what you'd call this. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like what you'd get for like trousers and things like that, I think, if you had those kind of thick, you know, thick trousers, like suit trousers or something. But I thought actually what I'm going to do, and I'm just trying to find the best place to start, is cover the front and back in the first instance with this, I think. Yeah, I'm just still debating. Yeah, no, I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to cut down with my pinking shears just around the edge of here. Okay, I'm just going to then trim this up here, and don't worry, I will hopefully straighten this out a bit in a minute. So got a bit of a smaller piece now just to be able to kind of show you a little bit better, but I mean, as you can see, it's pretty beige on one side, but it's quite ivory on the other side, which, you know, is the side that I'm going to be using. So yeah, I'm going to just glue that down over the front and the back cover, and then I'll trim around it, I think is probably the best way to do this. Yeah, so I'm going to just do that, I think, with my Fabri-Tac. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it with my Fabri-Tac. So let me just make sure that that's rearing to go. Never really had Fabri-Tac not be coming out of these bottles before, but yeah, it didn't seem to want to come out just now. But okay, so just go right round the edges, and then obviously focusing quite a bit where those holes are, because again, you know, I don't want the fabric coming away when I've punched the holes. So right the way round. And I mean, as you can see, you know, that fabric's, you know, not been ironed or anything like that, but I mean, hopefully once we glue it on, those creases will disappear, so they won't really be visible. So that's the hope anyway. Fingers crossed. I didn't really want to be ironing it or anything. And obviously I'm going to be layering it up, you know, the fabrics, that's not going to be the main fabric, if you see what I mean. So yeah, I'm not too worried. Right, going to just pop that down like that, and then again just kind of pull it as tight as I can. That will hopefully spread those creases. This here is actually a crease in that envelope, so again, you know, hopefully that will disappear once we've, you know, layered up some other bits and pieces onto this fabric. So right, that's my first layer. So I'm going to do exactly the same now with the back cover. Okay, so I've done my front and my back cover now, so I will now trim around them. Again, I'm not too worried if it's going to be overhanging, so I'm just going to trim it as best I can, just with my pinking shears, kind of close-ish to the, you know, to the actual hard cover itself, but, you know, not kind of worrying too much. Like that, and again along here. And then at the front, just under that ruffle, I've just got a little overhang, so I'm not going to trim that down at all. I'm just going to leave that as it is. Because I mean, effectively, once we've layered all this up, you're really not going to kind of be noticing it too much anyway. So it's all going to look, hopefully it's all going to look good anyway. I'll just, oops, get that ruffle out of the way. I'll just trim that down. Last piece there. Okay. Oops, just need to tidy this little bit here. Okay, right. Let me get rid of those bits into the bin. Trying to clear up as I go. And again, you know, probably what I should have done was obviously glue that fabric on and then stitched all around there as well, because then I would have had the nice stitching, you know, on the front and the, you know, the here on the inside cover. But, you know, it doesn't matter, to be honest. Don't kind of worry if you don't kind of do things in the right order. It's, you know, it's not a big deal. It still looks fine without the stitching. So now all I'm going to do is obviously start layering up some pieces. Again, I've pulled in this lovely Hessian because obviously it would be quite nice to be able to incorporate that. I've also got, oops, one of my little frames that we've, you know, done together in the tutorial. So I thought that might be quite nice to have on here somewhere. I'm going to ink the fabric up slightly, just using my vintage photo. Okay, so just so it doesn't look like just, you know, naked fabric just kind of on there. So like that. Okay. And again, you know, I haven't worried too much because it's, you know, on the whole, it's going to just be covered up anyway. So I'm not kind of too fussed about making it look perfect or anything like that. Let me move those out of the way because they're making a horrible clonk across the desk. So I'm wondering, oh, that looks heavenly already, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm kind of loving how that looks. And actually, I'm just wondering whether I could use one of my little ribbon collar pieces. I don't know what these are called still, but these little collar type things. This one would be really nice on here because it's obviously in that gorgeous kind of turquoise colour. So yeah, let me just leave that out before I forget to use that. But oh, that's just gorgeous, isn't it? So now I've gone down that route, I don't know whether I'm going to manage to get this to blend in, because to me this is, you know, not going to look quite as kind of posh if you like, as this one does. But yeah, I mean, how awesome does that look? I just absolutely love it. To be honest, I love it without even anything else on there. I don't know now, again, I don't know whether this frame is going to quite tie in or whether I'm going to kind of overdo it. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. Definitely loving this lace. So I'm just going to chop that down. Oops, across there. And then let's have another bit of a look around. So I'm just seeing what else I've literally got here to the side of me. Oh, look, I did have some more coffee dyed ruffles. They were in the pile that I obviously brought along, you know, when I was kind of doing this the other day. So I had one sat there all along. Now, I quite like, personally, this ruffle kind of just across there. Like that. Obviously, I want to put something else over here. Partially because obviously this is going to get quite grubby, being just kind of plain fabric. So I mean, partially I just want to kind of you know, cover it with some other things so it's got a bit of protection and it's not just completely plain. Yeah, I'm still bringing this back in and playing around with it. I don't know. I don't know whether could I go for like some of this lace. I wonder if I've got some of that left. Oh, I have. I mean, this is quite bold because there's not a great deal of this dark blue in the journal, but you know, it is the cover after all. So if you can't be bold on the cover, when, you know, when can you be? Oops. Oh gosh, what am I doing? Wondering whether we could have like some appliques or something like that on there. Okay, I'm back. So I've had a little bit of a dig around for some little bits and pieces. So I've got this gorgeous piece of doily, which we could use. I've also got this one. Just having a look, because I think I may maybe have some other doily in my little kind of bag that I have hanging on my drawer beside me. Not that I can see it now, so perhaps I don't. No, I can't see it. Or perhaps I haven't. Oh, no. I thought that was it, but no. That's just more of that. More of that lace. Oh, here we go. Right, so I have this one here. So I'm wondering whether we could incorporate some of those gorgeous doilies. So these are kind of vintage doilies. So let's just chop. I'm not over keen on this bit going around here, so I'm just going to take that off. Oops. Oh, come on. Okay. It's very fiddly to try and get this without cutting into the doily too much, so okay. Right, I'm just wondering, do I want the whole thing or would I kind of just have a little section of it? I mean, actually, it looks quite nice, the whole thing. Weirdly, I didn't really think it would. Let me just move this out of the way. Let's just see. Oh no, that looks a little bit like a kind of sun. Yeah, a little bit like the sunshine or something on there, which that's just strange, isn't it? So let's just layer this up a little bit more. Perhaps we could have that even at a bit of a sideways kind of angle. That's quite pretty. Oh, it's so tough sometimes, isn't it? Right, I'm going to, again, I know I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to stick this first piece of lace down because I do really find it very helpful once one piece is down it gives me somewhere to kind of work from. You know, all the time that everything's moving, or, you know, movable. It's not really moving, but, you know, movable. I just find myself endlessly moving things. So it's very helpful, I think, to actually get something stuck down, because then you've got a starting point. So, and I know I've said all this before, but, you know, again, and even if I kind of then go on to sort of regret it and think, oh, I wish I hadn't stuck that there, most things can be worked with. So either you could probably peel it off and, you know, change it, or, you know, you might be able to stick something over it and, you know, get around it that way. So I think it's still, for me, you know, for me, I definitely find it helpful to actually have something, you know, placed down onto the book or onto the page or onto the cover. I'm just wondering, yeah, I want to have that there. I mean, I love how this looks. It just looks so, so, so gorgeous. Oops, that ribbon's kind of threading a little bit. Okay. Just wondered. Do you know, I'm not sure about this doily now, because it's got quite pointy edges. So for me, it feels a little bit sort of, not aggressive, that's a bit strange to say, but it feels quite, just not very delicate, I suppose. It just feels a little bit kind of too, yeah, too pointy. I wonder if I cover some of that up, whether it would be a bit better. Or I think half of it's definitely better, because just covering straight away that half up, just instantly I preferred it. So I'm just going to cut down in half. I'm now covered in doily, because obviously when I was cutting it, all these little bits have gone everywhere. And I'm wearing black tights and black skirt. So yeah, when I go out later, you know, to the school and things, I'm just going to look awful, because I'm going to be just covered in all these little white bits and pieces. Oh dear. Right. So I could have another piece down here. That looks quite nice. So I think what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to fix this turquoise down now. So again, you know, I've got sort of my more bits, you know, more bits here attached. So we're just... Oops, that wasn't really stuck down in the first place. So just kind of, yeah, retrospectively trying to glue that down. Not great. I should have obviously gone right to the edge, but never mind. Okay. So that's that piece on. Yeah, and then I do like this here with this kind of, you know, layered over. And then of course I do, you know, just do want something in that background. So I'll just chop this down. Oh, it's such a grey day today. It's been raining quite a lot, and yeah, it's just one of those really grey days. I mean, I can't complain. We don't really appear to have had many of them. Again, I'm filming ahead, so perhaps by the time this video goes out, we might have been inundated with nothing but grey days. So I'm not lying. Honestly, at the point where I'm filming, we've not had many. But yeah, I appreciate that anything can change very quickly. So it may be that by the time this video goes up, we'll have had nothing but grey days. So honestly, I'm not lying. Okay, wow, just burnt my finger there. Yeah, because it's just got a great big bit of glue there. Okay. All right. Now I haven't glued this side down because I might have to put something, you know, some more lace going down here. So what I'm going to do now is just glue this piece down on this edge. So okay, there we go. Oh, try and tuck that in a little bit. Okay. Okie doke, and then we're going to have this piece like that. So I mean, effectively these are mainly kind of almost like scraps really, that are just, you know, leftover pieces that are laying around here on my desk. So again, it's really great to be able to just use those up. I quite like that piece down there. I think that looks quite pretty. And then this might look too big. Let me just ink up a little section of this. Again, just check that I'm doing it the right way up. I don't know whether there really is a right way up, but just going to see how it looks inked up a bit. Because of course this is just white at the moment, which would look quite, you know, quite bold and quite bright in comparison to everything else in the journal. So just ink it up a bit. Okay. Just bring that cover back in. Yeah, that looks quite nice now. So I'm just going to trim this down here. Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? Because somebody's, you know, really nicely and, you know, put lots of work into making this doily. And I mean, I wouldn't have a clue where to start making a doily, but yeah, I feel bad cutting it. Just going to go around the very edges because where it's quite thick, they're almost like showing a little bit, if you see what I mean. So you've got the bright white still slightly visible just because it's quite thick. So yeah, I just want to kind of cover that up. Okay, right. Probably want that. Or did I want it like this? Oh, it's a tough one. So possibly like that. But I do want it going over this section here. So perhaps move that down. Like that. Have that piece over there, I think. This piece up here. And so I just need to fill in just a little tiny piece there, which I've probably got. Yep. Little sort of scrappy piece that might look. Now, is she going to look good on there now? Maybe she looks okay. I'm just going to just try out a little bit of this turquoise. Just back here and just see whether... Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Or that could go under there. Yeah, I quite like that, I think. So my first piece I'm going to glue down is going to be this one. I'll just make sure this is glued right to the edge. Like that, okay. And we're just going to glue this turquoise down. Okie dokie. Oops, turn that over. Actually, I'm just thinking I'm going to put this the other way around because this section is going to be covered up. So I'd rather have this shaped edge on the, you know, on that side. So, okay. And then I'm going to get this one here. And probably, because I want to kind of have it going to the corner really. So yeah, I probably will need to trim this down in a minute, but oh, actually maybe I don't need to, because maybe this will go over that corner. Yeah, I think that will go over that corner. So actually I don't need to worry so much. So that can go there like that. Yeah, okay, right. So this one I can just kind of run some hot glue around some of those thicker parts and just glue it like that. So again, I mean, I just love the hot glue because it's just so quick and easy, you know. It just, yeah, if you want things to come together really quickly and easily, hot glue is the stuff, I think. So for me, I just love it. Okay, so again, I'm just going to go through some of those thicker pieces. And, you know, of course, I mean, sometimes the hot glue would be a bit too thick, you know, on those fine laces. It's hard to find pieces that, you know, you've got enough filled in pieces to use the hot glue, if you see what I mean. But when you've got lots of, you know, thick filled in pieces, then it's quite good to use. I'm going to cut this off actually, because I probably don't really need that there. And then this is going to go, you know, just over there, or actually it could probably go that way, especially if I'm going to have hair. Just wondering. Okay, well, I'll come to that piece in a moment. So I'm just going to finish gluing this down. Again, just taking some of those filled in pieces. Let me just put another glue stick into my hot glue. Oops. I always try and keep some hot glue just here in my drawer beside my desk so that I've got some ready. And now, of course, I can't see any. I'm pretty sure I have got some, but I think it's just been pushed to the back of the drawer now, so it's so annoying. I'm going to have to now stop the video and quickly run and get some more glue because it's just at the back of my desk. So, okay, hold on 2 seconds and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. We're armed with more hot glue, so hopefully that's going to be the last time I'm going to stop the video. So, yeah, I feel like it's been very stop-start today. Okay. There we go. Okay, right. Just do a little bit here. Like that. Oh, doesn't it look just so pretty already? I really love how it looks. Okay, and I'm going to just have this down here. Now, just before I glue that down, I'm just going to check that I wouldn't rather it going, you know, like over the top of this lace, if you see what I mean. That might just look a bit too bunched up, but it's worth having a look. Now, the problem is with this is very thick. This suddenly drops down like that. So I'm not sure she's going to be able to go there, to be honest. Oh, unless I have this here. It's a tough decision. Maybe she doesn't really belong on there. I'm not sure now. I think what I'm going to do is just glue this one down here to get me started. So, yeah, let's glue this one down. So, again, it's quite a thick one, so I can probably get away with some hot glue on here and maybe just fill some bits in with my Fabri-Tac in a minute. Okay. And then I can just go in with my Fabri-Tac then, kind of along the rest of it. But at least I've got it sort of held down now where it needs to be. Ah, you know what I didn't do? I didn't glue that doily down in the end. So the doily here is still lifting. Right, let me just glue that down. Okay, right. That's the problem. When you have all these layers, it's hard to remember to glue everything down. Okay, just going to add a little tiny bit of glue here. I mean, I just like to make sure that everything's really nicely glued down. So, you know, Some people probably prefer it, you know, with a bit more movement, and that's fine too. Just, you know, just go with how you prefer yours to be, really. So I've just got this little bit of doily down here, and I'm going to place that at the bottom. I like it there. I'm just going to check I don't prefer it there. No, I like it here. I mean, this does make this panel quite thick, but let's just check. I mean, to be honest, it's quite nice either way. So let me just check. Just take some of that turquoise again. I mean, that's a bit strange if it's going like that, isn't it? Okay, let's just have another look. Let me just snip this curly edge off. Isn't this just the most gorgeous colour? Just love this really sort of deep teal type colour. Super pretty, super pretty. I can't decide now. Again, it's when I would like to be able to hear everyone and see what everyone's opinion is. I mean, that's really nice because it's super delicate. But having said that, I quite like this here as well. And of course it does then strengthen, you know, strengthen the cover as well, which, I mean, not that it hopefully needs strengthening, but, you know, the more kind of layers you've got built up, the, you know, the stronger it's going to be. Whereas otherwise I've just got this central panel of very thick pieces, which, you know, probably for balance is not really that great. So, yeah, I think possibly it's better kind of that way round. Right, let's go for that. Okay. So we'll just drag that down a bit. Just do it with my white because obviously there are quite a lot of holes, and I did just burn my finger sticking it on just now. So yeah, you know, you do want to be careful when you're using your hot glue. I mean, although it's super convenient and I absolutely love using it, I mean, you can really hurt yourself with the glue. And I'm not meaning to sound patronizing when I say that, you know. I really hurt my thumb once, and I know I've said about it several times before, but honestly it hurts so much, and for several days. So, you know, you just want to be a little bit careful when you're using your hot glue. But equally, I do think if you're looking to do things quite quickly, wow, there's just no better way to do it, to be honest. The hot glue is hands down, you know, the best thing to use. Right, okay. Now this I turned upside down. I'm just checking that I think I quite like it upside down like that. So again, I'm just going to stick this in here. I might just fabric tack this one in. So I've just got a mixture of the fabric tack and the hot glue going on really on this cover. So hopefully between the two glues, everything's going to be nicely stuck down. Okay. And again, I'm just kind of trying to blob it into some of the more solid parts of that lace, which again, it's quite hard to do when the lace is quite fine, you know, because you're not going to have loads of filled in pieces, are you? Or filled in areas. There we go. And then we're going to have this one here like that. Yep, okay, so I've just got kind of those little touches of the turquoise showing through there. So again, I'm just going to go with the hot glue to get this, you know, placed down in the first instance, and then I can obviously go back in with the fabric tack. Just going to go over this part because this has got lots of bits that aren't glued down. again, it's very holy. Just bring in my wipe. Okay, right, let's go. We'll just Fabri-Tac this down with all the remains, you know, of the solid pieces. Okie doke. Yeah, what lovely colours these are. Really just loving that colour combination. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really very pretty. Okay, right. Now I'm going to have this here. Oh, I love that collar thing. I must look up and see whether there is a name for those because, yeah, I don't know what they're called, to be honest. Although, who knows, maybe by the time the video goes out, I might have Googled them and know what they're called by then. Okay, and what was the other piece that I was wondering about putting on? Oh, it was that lady. Now, what did I do with her? Oh, where's she gone now? Is that a sign that she's not really the thing for this? Because she's now disappeared. Yeah, maybe she wasn't the right thing to add because she's definitely gone missing now. She can't be far. Well, I say she can't be far. Where is she, I wonder? She's definitely not showing her self so far, is she? Oh, I have no idea now where she's gone. Right, okay, well, I'm just going to go for this. Now, again, I haven't really thought about my closure, so yeah, I should probably kind of just make sure that I'm not going to have, because if I was likely to have ribbon, I may well have it underneath here. So I should probably kind of deal with that first. But that's kind of to give you the idea of obviously what I'm going to be doing. Let me just move that to one side. So obviously that's the inside of the front and back. And then, of course, I'm going to just do something very similar to the front. Not quite as flamboyant. It will probably be, you know, much plainer. But for the back as well, just to kind of, you know, for a bit of continuity. So I will do that off camera because I'm aware that obviously this video is probably turning out super long now. But yeah, I hope that you like the bits that we've done and maybe gives you some ideas for some bits and bobs for your own journal. So thank you so much for watching and hopefully see you again soon. Thanks then. Bye.